Hello there, this is Teacher McCall. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking about present perfect tense. Present perfect tense is one of the most widely used tenses in English grammar. At the same time, it's also one of the most highly misunderstood tenses in English grammar. Why do a lot of people use this tense incorrectly or they get it wrong while speaking and writing? The answer to that question is very simple. It is just because this tense has a very confusing name. I mean, it's called present perfect. However, it's never used to talk about an action which happens in the present. Instead, it's used to talk about an action which happens in the past. So, when do we exactly use present perfect tense? We use this tense to talk about an action which happened in the past and we don't know the exact time when it happened. So, present perfect tense is used to talk about a past experience. For example, I have been to Paris before. I have watched this movie before. I have been to New York before. All these examples tell you about one's past experience or my past experiences, and you do not know the exact time. You don't get to know the exact time when exactly I visited all these places or when exactly I did all these things in the past because that's not important. Uh, so it's a past experience which is the focus or which is the center of attraction, not the exact time when a particular action happened in the past. So that's one very important thing which we need to bear in mind, which we need to keep in mind when it comes to using present perfect tense. So what are the rules of present perfect tense? Rules of present perfect tense are simple: subject plus has or have plus third form of the verb plus object. Has is used with he, she, it, name or a singular word, and have is used with I, we, you, they, or a plural word. If a sentence begins with he, she, it, name, or a singular word, we got to use has. As opposed to that, a sentence beginning with I, we, you, they, or a plural word will be followed by have. So have will go with I, we, you, they, or a plural word at the beginning of a sentence. Another very important thing which one should keep in mind is that we always use third form of the verb. We always use third form of the verb in present perfect tense. In fact, perfect tenses are the only tenses in English grammar where third form of the verb is used, like be it present perfect, past perfect, or future perfect. These are the only three tenses where we use third form of the verb. So when it comes to deciding which verb to use, it's very simple. Present perfect, the moment you hear the word perfect tense, you always got to stick with third form of the verb. It's the past participle of a verb which we got to use all the time. And that will make it super easy to remember as to which verb or which form of the verb has to be used in present perfect or past perfect or future perfect tense. Let's have a look at some affirmative or positive sentences. For example, I have watched this movie before. I have been to New York 5 times. I have eaten an apple. They have already left for Norway. Moving on to negative sentences, all we need to do is to add not to has or have, and they can also be pronounced as haven't or hasn't. So the rules would be subject plus hasn't or haven't plus third form of the verb plus object. For example, I haven't watched this movie yet. I haven't been to Paris before. I haven't done my homework yet. In other way, in a way, Negative sentences are also used to talk about unfinished actions, I mean actions which have not been finished till now. Next, we have interrogative sentences. In order to frame an interrogative sentence, all we need to do is to put either has or have at the beginning of a sentence, followed by a pronoun plus third form of the verb plus object. Moving on to interrogative sentences, all we need to do is to put either has or have at the beginning of a sentence, followed by a pronoun plus third form of the verb plus object. How to decide whether to put has or have at the beginning of a sentence to frame an interrogative or an interrogative or a question in present perfect tense? Well, it's very simple to figure that out. All you need to do is to look at the pronoun used in a particular sentence. If you spot pronouns like he, she, it, name, or a singular word, go for has. Put has at the beginning of a sentence. Has plus either he, she, it, name, or a singular word plus third form of the verb plus object. For example, has he already done his work? Has he been to Paris before? Has she watched this movie before? As opposed to that, put have at the beginning of a sentence if you spot pronouns like I, we, you, they, or a plural word. So if you spot any of these in a sentence and you want to change that sentence into an interrogative sentence, or you just want to frame an interrogative sentence or a question in present perfect tense, you got to choose have over has. For example, have you been to London before? Have you eaten this cookie before? Have you done your work? Have you watched this movie before? Let's have a quick recap. Number one, when do we use present perfect tense? To answer that question, I would say we use present perfect tense to talk about an action which happened in the past. Or, however, we do not know the exact time when it happened, and the time of an action in the past is not as important as the action itself. Here we try to talk about a past experience. The focus is upon a past experience or an event or a thing or an action that happened in the past. The exact timing of an action in the past is not that important. For that, we need to use simple past tense. In order to frame a positive or affirmative sentence in present perfect tense, we need the following: subject plus has or have plus third form of the verb plus object. Has goes with he, she, it, name, or a singular word. Have goes with I, we, you, they, or a plural word. If a sentence begins with he, she, it, name, or a singular word, we got to use has. As opposed to that, a sentence beginning with I, we, you, they, or a plural word will take have. For negative sentences, all we need to do is to add not to has or have. Has not becomes hasn't, have not becomes haven't. So the rules would be subject plus hasn't or haven't, depending upon which pronoun is there in a particular sentence, plus third form of the verb plus object. In order to frame an interrogative sentence or a question in present perfect tense, all we need to do is to either put has or have at the beginning of a sentence. We put have at the beginning of a sentence if it's going to be followed by a pronoun like I, we, you, they, or a plural word plus third form of the verb plus object. On the other hand, we put has at the beginning of a sentence if you spot a pronoun like he, she, it, name, or a singular word plus third form of the verb plus object. Finally, we have come to the end of today's session. on present perfect tense. I hope you had a great time watching this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comment section below and I will get back to you at the earliest. That's all for today. Bye bye. Take care.